Today, I will show you why expressing your desires makes you powerless, and how the great players of history cloaked their ambitions until the moment of victory. If you've ever felt ignored, underestimated, or manipulated after revealing what you wanted, this is the strategy that will make you untouchable. In the courts of kings, in the palaces of power, and in the back rooms where the real decisions are made, there is one unspoken truth. The moment you reveal your hunger, you become prey. Niccolo Machiavelli once wrote, "Men judge more from appearance than from reality. All men have eyes, but few have the gift of penetration." In the game of power, desire is a weakness, and showing it is fatal. In the corridors of power, the most dangerous enemy you will ever face is not the one who openly opposes you. It is the one who watches silently, studying your every move, and waits for the precise moment to act. This is the essence of cold ambition. To move toward your goal without declaring it, without announcing it, without giving the world a single clue until you have already arrived. Niccolo Machiavelli understood this with lethal clarity. He wrote that men are quick to oppose what they can see coming, but blind to what hides in the shadows. If you speak too soon, if you reveal the shape of your ambition before you have the power to defend it, you hand your enemies the perfect weapon to destroy you. Consider the royal courts of Renaissance Italy, where every nobleman wanted the ear of the prince. The moment a man announced that he sought favor, the moment he reached for a position, the daggers of rumor and betrayal began to cut into him. Rivals would whisper poison into the prince's ear, allies would suddenly become distant, and the path to power would be blocked before it had even begun. This is why the true master of ambition does not march toward his goal like a soldier carrying a banner. He drifts toward it like a shadow slipping through the cracks. He appears uninterested in the very thing he seeks. He may even speak against it publicly, turning attention away from himself. While others exhaust themselves fighting openly, he advances quietly, securing allies, removing obstacles, and preparing the ground for his rise. The key lies in patience. People are predictable. They fear change when they can see it coming, but they accept it when it arrives suddenly and decisively. A revealed ambition is like a lit torch in a dark room. It draws every eye, and not all of those eyes will wish you well. But an ambition kept hidden is like an ember buried in the ashes unseen, yet growing hotter with each passing moment, until it bursts into flame when the time is right. History is full of such examples. The greatest rulers often appeared reluctant to take power, allowing others to persuade them to lead. This was no accident. It was a performance, a mask worn to disarm suspicion. Because when people believe you are harmless, they lower their guard. And when they lower their guard, you can act without resistance. In the modern world, the principle remains the same. In business, if you announce your plans too early, competitors will undercut you before you launch. In relationships, if you reveal too much desire too soon, you give the other person complete control over the dynamic. And in politics, if you state your ambitions openly before building a base of power, you invite opponents to rally against you before you have the means to withstand them. Think of the chessboard. A master does not declare, "I will take your king in 6 moves." Instead, he advances his pieces subtly, creating pressure from multiple angles, disguising his true intent until it is impossible for the opponent to escape. By the time the king is cornered, the game is already over. This is the essence of concealment, not deception for its own sake, but strategy for survival. It is not enough to want something. You must ensure that your wanting is invisible to all who might oppose it. The less they know, the less they can resist. The less they can resist, the faster you can move. And when you finally reveal what you were after all along, it must be at the moment when your enemies have no power left to take it from you, when every piece is in place, and when the cost of stopping you would be greater than the cost of letting you win got it. Here's Keynote 2 expanded to around 600 words in the same Machiavellian narrator tone, keeping it highly engaging and without any closing sentence, so it flows naturally into the next keynote. Keynote 2, let others speak your desires for you. There is a hidden law in the pursuit of power. The moment you openly ask for something, you shrink in stature. Those who beg even with elegance place themselves beneath those who can grant the favor. Machiavelli understood this perfectly. He knew that the most dangerous position in any game is to appear as the one chasing, because the chaser is always at the mercy of the one being pursued. Power is maintained through perception, and perception is shaped not by what you say about yourself, but by what others say about you. If you want influence, the most effective voice to declare your worth is never your own. When you speak your desires, people hear ambition. But when others speak of your worthiness, they hear destiny. This is the great psychological difference between being seen as deserving and being seen as desperate. In the courts of Florence, wise men rarely announced their candidacy for high office. Instead, they worked quietly to inspire whispers in the right ears. They allowed influential figures to speak of their virtues, to present them as natural choices for leadership. This subtle orchestration made it seem as though the position was seeking them, not the other way around. And when people believe an honor seeks you, they stop questioning whether you have the right to take it. This is not merely a matter of pride, it is a matter of strategy. The moment you declare what you want, you trigger two forces: envy in those who desire the same thing, and suspicion in those who have the power to give it. Envy creates rivals, suspicion creates obstacles, but when others declare your suitability, you sidestep both. Rivals have no clear target to attack because you have not openly stepped into the arena. And those with the power to decide are disarmed because the suggestion comes from someone they trust, not from you. This technique is as relevant today as it was in Machiavelli's time. In business, the most sought-after executives are often recruited, not applicants. In romance, the most admired individuals are often introduced through glowing recommendations from others, not self-proclaimed charm. In politics, the most compelling candidates are encouraged to run by supporters rather than begging for a place on the ballot. In every field, the underlying dynamic is the same. The crown is heavier when you are seen lifting it yourself, but feather light when others place it on your head. Consider the psychology at play. When you advocate for yourself, you are making a claim, and claims require proof. You must convince, justify, and argue. But when others advocate for you, they are making an observation, and observations require no proof, only belief. People will fight your claims, but they rarely fight what they believe to be the natural order of things. The trick, of course, is that this does not happen by accident. The wise player plants the seeds of their reputation long before the harvest. Small acts of competence, moments of quiet leadership, a display of restraint when others would rush in. These become the stories that others repeat on your behalf. Each retelling builds your image in their minds until eventually they are the ones urging you toward the very position you have desired all along. But you must resist the temptation to correct, to add, to insert yourself into these conversations. Let them speak for you, let them own the idea. For when people feel they have discovered your value themselves, they defend it more fiercely than they would if you had tried to sell it to them. And when the time comes for decisions to be made, you will find that the room is already leaning in your direction before you even enter it. In every contest for power, there is one quality that unsettles people more than aggression, more than charm, more than even raw strength, and that is indifference. To want something yet appear as though you could take it or leave, it confuses the human mind. It forces the other person to question their own position, to feel as though they must work to secure your attention, your loyalty, or your commitment. Machiavelli understood that the man who shows no need is the man who is hardest to control. Indifference is not the absence of desire. It is the concealment of it beneath a mask so convincing that others begin to believe you could walk away at any moment. And the moment they believe you can walk away, they begin to chase you. This is the paradox of human nature. The more you appear to need something, the more power you give to the one who can provide it. But the more you seem content without it, the more value you suddenly acquire in their eyes. In the salons of Renaissance Italy, patrons controlled the livelihoods of artists, scholars, and advisors. Many groveled for their favor, showering them with flattery and constantly proving their loyalty. These men were treated like servants, easily dismissed and easily replaced. But there were others, rare individuals, who behaved as though the patron's approval was simply one of many options available to them. They were respectful, yes, but not eager. They showed excellence in their craft, but withheld their full effort unless it was properly valued. And because they seemed impossible to buy completely, they became the most expensive, the most sought after, the most indispensable. Indifference makes others work for you without even realizing it. In business negotiations, the party willing to walk away always dictates the terms. In relationships, the person who does not cling commands more attention and respect. In politics, the figure who seems aloof from petty rivalries often becomes the one both sides court for fear of losing his favor to the other. Indifference shifts the burden of pursuit from you to them, turning the hunter into the hunted. But make no mistake, indifference is a performance, and like all great performances, it must be rehearsed. You cannot feign it with trembling hands or wandering eyes. You must cultivate the discipline to hold your tongue when speaking would betray your eagerness. You must master the art of delayed response, the slight pause before you answer a question, the calm smile when others expect urgency. Every gesture should whisper, "I am here because I choose to be, not because I must be." The danger of revealing your need is that it gives the other side the power to set the price, whether that price is in money, loyalty, time, or personal sacrifice. Indifference robs them of that advantage. It leaves them uncertain about how to entice you, and that uncertainty drives them to offer more than they otherwise would. This is why great rulers rarely show themselves to be easily impressed. They allow others to display their worth first, to invest their resources, to prove themselves worthy of consideration. And even when they decide in someone's favor, they make it clear that the decision was theirs alone, not the result of relentless pursuit. This keeps the balance of power tilted in their direction, where it belongs. To wield indifference as a weapon is to place yourself in a position where people are more afraid of losing you than you are of losing them. It is to stand calmly while others grow restless, to appear unmoved while they scramble for your approval. And when they finally lean forward, eager to secure your favor, you will find that the terms are no longer theirs to dictate, but yours to grant. The most effective way to gain power over people is not to show them what you want, it is to show them what they want. The human mind is driven far more by its own hunger than by yours. When you make someone believe that they are chasing their own ambition, their own benefit, their own prize, they will run in whatever direction you guide them, often without ever realizing they are serving your purpose. Machiavelli understood that the shepherd does not chase the sheep chase the grass, and in doing so, they go exactly where the shepherd intends. Feeding desire in others requires a precise understanding of their weaknesses and ambitions. It begins with listening more than you speak, watching more than you act. In the courts of Florence, the wisest players of the political game were those who could identify the hidden yearning in each rival or ally. The longing for recognition, the thirst for wealth, craving for influence, and then create the illusion that they could satisfy it by dangling just enough of the prize to keep it within reach but never in hand. They kept others moving, working, and striving, all the while directing their energy toward the manipulator's own hidden goals. At the same time, you must starve desire in yourself, at least in appearance. The man who openly hungers gives away his weakness. The moment people know what you crave, they can withhold it to control you, or worse, use it as leverage against you. But when you seem immune to temptation, you become unpredictable. No one can bribe the man who appears to need nothing. No one can lure the strategist who keeps his personal ambitions invisible. There is a cold elegance in this dual approach. You position yourself as the source of what others want, while never allowing them to glimpse what could ensnare you. They chase, you stand still. They give, you receive. In this dynamic, they become dependent on you for progress, for advancement, for fulfillment. And dependency is one of the purest forms of power. This is not about generosity. It is about calculated control. You are not feeding desire to satisfy it. You are feeding desire to keep it alive. If you hand someone their dream completely, their need for you ends. If you give them just enough to keep them coming back, they remain tethered to you indefinitely. The most skilled rulers, lovers, and leaders understood this principle. They were fountains that never ran dry, but also never overflowed. Consider how this plays out in modern life. A skilled negotiator will hint at the possibility of a deal, but will always hold back the final concession until the moment it serves them most. A successful leader will praise an ambitious subordinate just enough to inspire loyalty, but never so much that they feel fully satisfied. Even in personal relationships, those who keep a slight distance, who give affection in measured doses, often inspire far deeper longing than those who give themselves entirely. The act of starving desire in yourself also serves another purpose. It sharpens your control over your own emotions. The more you train yourself to want nothing openly, the less vulnerable you become to manipulation. Those who cannot be seduced are the ones who seduce most effectively. Those who cannot be bought are the ones others spend the most trying to impress. To feed desire in others while starving it in yourself is to play the long game. It is to guide the ambitions of many while concealing the ambition of one. They will run tirelessly toward the goals they believe are theirs, while never realizing they are also carrying you toward the one goal you have kept locked away in silence. The greatest mistake of the ambitious is to move too soon. Desire burns hot, and the impatient believe that striking quickly shows courage. But in truth, it is not the speed of the strike that determines victory. It is the readiness of the stage upon which you strike. Machiavelli observed that fortune favors not the boldest, but the most prepared. To act before the ground is firm beneath your feet is to invite collapse. Every act of power is a performance, and every performance demands a stage set to perfection. The actors must be in place, the lights angled correctly, the audience's attention fixed exactly where you want it. If you rush forward before these conditions are met, you allow chaos to dictate the outcome. You hand control to the unexpected, to the unplanned, to the enemy you did not anticipate. But when you wait, when you watch the pieces fall into their appointed places, you can act with the certainty that each move will land exactly as intended. In the intrigues of Renaissance courts, those who revealed their ambitions too early rarely survived. An aspiring minister who showed his hunger for office before securing the loyalty of key allies would find himself isolated, exposed to rumors and plots. A commander who moved his army before securing supply lines would find his troops starving before the battle even began. The wise never charged blindly. They constructed their victories brick by brick until the structure was so strong that even a direct assault could not bring it down. This principle applies to every sphere of life. In business, a product launched before the market is primed often fails not because it was unworthy, but because the audience was not ready to receive it. In politics, an idea presented before the people's mood has shifted in its favor will be met with resistance, even if it is brilliant. In personal power, a bold move made before relationships and alliances are properly established will often backfire, leaving you weaker than when you began. The art lies in appearing inactive while you are, in fact, moving constantly beneath the surface. The spider does not pounce upon the fly the moment it touches the web. It waits until the struggling has stopped, until the prey is so entangled it cannot escape. The master of cold ambition does the same. He appears calm, even disinterested, while quietly removing obstacles, fortifying his position, and ensuring that when he does move, there will be no force capable of pushing him back. Patience in this sense is not passivity. It is an active shaping of conditions. You are not simply waiting for fortune to smile upon you. You are bending fortune itself to your will. You are watching for the moment when opposition is weakest, when allies are strongest, when public opinion is in your favor, and when the risk of retaliation is minimal. It is only in such a moment that the strike becomes inevitable, unstoppable, and final. This is why the most dangerous individuals often seem to emerge from nowhere. In truth, they have been working silently for years, layering their defenses, building influence in unseen places, and positioning themselves so perfectly that when they act, it appears almost effortless. Their enemies, caught off guard, have no time to mount a counterattack. And to the outside world, it looks as if the victory was granted by fate itself, when in reality it was engineered by patient calculation conclusion in the game of power. It is not the loudest voice, the fastest hand, or the most obvious ambition that wins. It is the one who moves unseen until the moment of triumph. You have learned the cold ambition strategy, to conceal your aim until resistance is useless, to let others speak your worth, so you never appear desperate, to wield indifference as a weapon that forces others to chase you, to feed desire in others while starving it in yourself, and to strike only when the stage is perfectly set. These are not tricks for the timid. They require patience sharper than a blade, self-control stronger than hunger, and the discipline to silence your own pride until it serves you. Machiavelli knew that men are swayed by appearances more than truth, and the greatest appearance you can craft is that of someone who does not need to win until, without warning, they have already won. Remember, power is not taken by force alone. It is taken by positioning yourself so that when you move, no one can stand against you, and when you rise, it feels inevitable. Let the impatient burn themselves out chasing what they want. You will wait in the shadows, shaping the battlefield, until the day you step into the light, not as a contender, but as the one who has already claimed the throne.